So, this is how the downfall begins. Not with a scandalous headline, not with an on-court brawl, but with a single out-of-touch executive making one of the most tone-deaf public statements in WNBA history. The Indiana Fever, once the feel-good story of the season thanks to the arrival of Caitlin Clark, now find themselves at the center of a full-blown public relations nightmare. And it all traces back to President Krauskopf. Her comments weren't just miscalculated. They were an insult to the intelligence of every fan, analyst, and player who has been watching this season unfold. What she said flipped the narrative, and fans are furious. Because when you try to minimize the role of your franchise savior, karma doesn't wait. It hits instantly, and it hits hard. Krauskopf essentially told the world that the Fever don't want to build their future solely around Caitlin Clark. In fact, she said the organization's focus is on being more than just one player, that they want to be an enduring brand, like Apple. But here's the thing. When you have a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, you do build your future around her. You don't try to share the spotlight, you expand it, enhance it, and harness it. The moment those words left her mouth, social media exploded. WNBA analysts went nuclear, and fans didn't hold back. Because if you disrespect the very person who dragged your franchise from obscurity into national relevance, you deserve every ounce of heat coming your way. Let's break it down. Krauskopf's Apple comparison wasn't just bizarre, it was laughable. Apple didn't become Apple by pretending the iPhone didn't matter. They doubled down on it. They centered their entire ecosystem around ITSO. When a Fever president says they want to be like Apple, but won't rely on Caitlin Clark, it's like McDonald's trying to hide the Big Mac while claiming they sell salads now. It's delusional. And fans weren't buying it for a second. They saw right through the PR spin and corporate lingo. The truth is simple. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever are just another struggling franchise, invisible on the national stage. Before Clark arrived, Indiana Fever games drew maybe 4,000 fans, sometimes less. They weren't televised nationally. Highlights didn't trend. In short, they were irrelevant. Then came Caitlin Clark. She sold out arenas across the country on the road. She turned casual fans into diehards. She made the Fever must-watch basketball. And now, the same executive team that benefited from that explosion in popularity wants to pretend it wasn't all because of her. Here's your latest section rewritten in polished, dramatic English while keeping all the intensity, meaning, and narrative flow intact, please. The idea that this was some kind of master plan from the front office is laughable. The arrogance is astounding. And the timing, what's worse is the timing. These comments didn't come after a championship win. They didn't come after a playoff run. They came while Caitlin Clark was visibly struggling in a system that doesn't suit her game. She's fighting to get the ball, battling teammates who freeze her out, navigating a coaching scheme that minimizes her strengths. And in the middle of all that chaos, the front office chooses now to tell the world they are not too dependent on her. That's not brand building, that's sabotage. Fans were already fed up. They'd been watching this train wreck all season, and this was the final straw. The response was immediate and brutal. Social media lit up with angry posts, hashtags, and calls for accountability. ESPN segments dissected the comments like an autopsy. Analysts called out the Fever for being tone-deaf and borderline disrespectful. Some even suggested Caitlin Clark would be better off in a different market when her rookie contract ends. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Because let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't a role player. She's not just a good rookie on a rebuilding team. She's a once-in-a-generation star, a transcendent talent who moves tickets, drives viewership, and grows the game globally. If the Fever can't recognize what they have in her, another team will. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, those cities would kill to have someone like Clark on their roster. They'd build an empire around her. Meanwhile, Indiana is busy making sure she doesn't overshadow anyone. Are you kidding me? Even other WNBA players get it. Sonia Citron said she's thrilled to be playing with Caitlin in the All-Star game. That wasn't just a compliment, it was a message. Players around the league respect Clark. They want to play with her. They understand she makes everyone around her better. The fact that Fever leadership doesn't see that, or worse, doesn't want to see it, says everything about the dysfunction behind the scenes. And the optics are disastrous. We're not talking about some random tweet. These were official comments from the president of the franchise. This was deliberate, prepped, rehearsed, signed off on. They really thought now was the right time to push the narrative that they are bigger than Caitlin Clark. And now they've become a punchline, a cautionary tale in how not to run a professional sports team in the era of superstar empowerment. The karma came quick, and it hit hard. Overnight, the Fever went from WNBA darlings to league laughingstock. The narrative flipped. Instead of being praised for drafting the most marketable player in women's basketball, they are being roasted for not knowing what to do with her. They are losing fan goodwill, media respect, and, down the line, possibly Caitlin Clark herself. That's what happens when you mistake luck for strategy. When you think drafting a superstar was your brilliance instead of your blessing. And the fallout doesn't stop there. Every move the Fever make is now under a microscope. Every substitution, every quote, every play drawn up for someone not named Caitlin Clark is being dissected and criticized. Fans have become watchdogs, and rightfully so. They know what's at stake. They've seen this movie before. A generational star wasting her prime while the front office stumbles, and the rest of the league moves forward. They don't want to see it happen again. The coaching is another disaster. Stephanie White is running an offense that looks designed to frustrate Clark. Motion-heavy sets, lack of spacing, and predictable play calls. It's as if they are trying to prove they can win in spite of her instead of because of her. And it's not working. The numbers don't lie. Fans aren't happy. Tension is boiling over. Players like Aaliyah Boston are doing everything right, thriving alongside Clark, and yet the front office still pretends this chemistry isn't her doing. The irony is staggering. They want a sustainable brand while actively dismantling its foundation in real time. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe the Fever anything. Let's be real. She could have been drafted by any team. Indiana was lucky, insanely lucky. And instead of showing gratitude, they show ego. Instead of loyalty, they offer indifference. That's not how you retain a star. That's how you lose one. Other organizations are watching. They are already preparing their pitches for when Clark's rookie contract ends. We'll build around you, we'll listen to you, we'll make you the face of the league. Meanwhile, Indiana talks about being the Apple of the WNBA. News flash: Apple never downplayed the iPhone. They celebrated it. They put it on billboards. They centered everything around it, and they succeeded. The merchandise numbers don't lie either. Caitlin Clark jerseys are selling faster than anything the WNBA has ever seen. TV ratings for her games dwarf everyone else's. She's not just a player, she's a movement. And the fact that Fever leadership can't, or won't, embrace that is mind-boggling. It's malpractice. And yet, here we are, watching a franchise fumble the most important asset in its history. Caitlin Clark is not just a high-performing athlete, she's a cultural phenomenon, a marketing gold mine, and a ticket to global relevance for a league that spent decades begging for mainstream attention. And instead of leveraging that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the Fever front office has decided that diluting her spotlight is a better path to long-term success. It's baffling. It's frustrating that here's your latest section rewritten in polished, dramatic English while keeping the tone, meaning, and intensity intact. And it might just go down as one of the most short-sighted executive decisions in women's sports history. But let's not pretend this is just about basketball. This is about business. This is about optics. Caitlin Clark turned the WNBA from a niche league into a viral talking point. She drew in viewers who had never watched a women's basketball game before. She made ESPN shift programming. She made Stephen A. Smith talk about the Fever. Do you have any idea how hard that is to pull off in a media landscape dominated by NFL quarterbacks and NBA superstars? And now, with the whole world watching, the Fever decided to say, hey, let's not give her too much credit. That's not strategy, that's suicide. You want to be Apple? Let's really talk about Apple. When they dropped the first iPhone, they didn't say, but don't forget about our iPod Shuffle. They didn't worry about other products getting overshadowed. They embraced the moment, rode the wave, and built an empire around one revolutionary idea. Caitlin Clark is the iPhone. She is the centerpiece, the revolution. And the Fever has the audacity to downplay her in the name of some vague idea of brand balance. Please. Here's the part the Fever executives clearly miss. When you have a superstar, you don't diminish her to make others comfortable. You lift her up and let her elevate everyone around her. Great franchises understand this. Look at the Bulls with Michael Jordan. Look at the Lakers with Magic Johnson. Look at the Mercury with Diana Taurasi. You don't minimize, you amplify. Stars bring the eyes. Eyes bring the money. Money brings championships. That's a formula. It's not complicated, unless you're in Indiana, apparently. And it's not just the front office catching heat. Stephanie White's offense looks like it was stolen from a college intramural playbook. Caitlin Clark, the best passer the league has seen in years, is reduced to dribble handoffs and off-ball curls that go nowhere. She's being asked to adapt to a system, instead of the system being adapted to her. That's backwards. That's offensive. That's organizational malpractice wrapped in a jersey. The damage is already being done. You can see it in Clark's body language. You can hear it in her presses. That spark, that fire, it's still there, but it's flickering under the weight of frustration. Every missed opportunity, every wasted possession, every game where she's not the focal point adds up, and fans are noticing. They didn't come to see a motion-heavy offense. They came to see Caitlin Clark. They came to see the logo, 3 bullets and precision passes. They came for her. And when she's not the centerpiece, they leave. Now let's talk about the brand the Fever claim they want to build, because that word keeps getting thrown around like it means something. What brand? What identity? Before Clark, the Fever's brand was irrelevance, an afterthought, a punchline. Now they have a chance to build something real. Something iconic. But you don't build that by leveling the playing field. You build it by riding your biggest wave to shore and planting your flag in the sand. Caitlin Clark is that wave. And instead of surfing it, the Fever are throwing sandbags on it. The merchandise tells the story. Caitlin Clark gear flies off the shelves. Her jersey sales dwarf those of her teammates. Her name trends even when she's not playing. She's not just the face of the Fever, she's a face of the league. The numbers back it up. The ripple effects are clear, but for some reason, Krauskopf and company think it's smarter to diversify attention than to capitalize on the singular player who made them relevant. That's not balance. That's ego. And the ripple effect extends across the league. Every rookie, every star, every prospective free agent is watching this saga unfold. They are asking themselves, is this an organization that values greatness, or is it a team that will throw me under the bus the moment I shine too bright? The Fever is building a reputation, and not the good kind. They are telling the world, we don't like when one player gets too big. That's not just a Caitlin Clark problem. That's a future talent problem. That's a recruiting disaster waiting to happen. The irony is brutal. The very thing the Fever fear, being too reliant on Caitlin Clark, is the only thing keeping them relevant. If she walked tomorrow, the sellouts would disappear. The national TV spots are gone. The hype vaporized. This isn't a balanced ecosystem. This is a planet with one sun, and that sun is Caitlin Clark. And if you don't keep her happy, that sun sets on your franchise, your relevance, and your bottom line. Meanwhile, other teams are salivating. Do you think New York wouldn't build a super team around her? Chicago wouldn't hand her the keys and $1 billion marketing campaign? Nike wouldn't pay her more to play in a bigger market? The Fever are playing with fire, and they don't even realize it. The truth is Caitlin Clark has options, and the WNBA is entering a new era where stars wield that power. The league isn't just growing, it's evolving. Player mobility is rising, visibility is booming, and loyalty is no longer assumed, it's earned. Indiana better wake up and realize that. Because if they keep trying to turn a generational moment into a team-building experiment, they're going to end up right back where they started. Empty seats, invisible ratings, and zero national interest. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is not just a basketball player. She's a movement. She's a brand. She's a generational icon in the making. And icons don't tolerate disrespect. They don't stay where they're not valued. They don't wait around for egos to catch up to reality. They leave, and they take the spotlight with them. The Fever has one job: don't blow this. That's it. Just do what every great franchise has done. Embrace the star, build around her, empower her, and let her lead you to places you couldn't reach on your own. And if that means swallowing some pride, so be it. The alternative is far worse: being remembered as the franchise that lost Caitlin Clark because they couldn't get out of their own way. And if that happens, karma won't just be instant, it'll be permanent. This isn't just a PR blunder. It's a test of what kind of franchise the Indiana Fever want to be. Do they want to be a dynasty built around a legend, or a cautionary tale about pride and mismanagement? Right now, they are leaning heavily toward the latter, and the basketball world is watching. Kelly Krauskopf, the message is simple: apologize, recalibrate, and start acting like you understand the gift you've been given. Caitlin Clark doesn't need the Indiana Fever to be a star, but the Fever absolutely needs Caitlin Clark to be anything more than a footnote. The fans are speaking. The media is shouting. And karma? Well, karma already made her first move. You better hope there's still time to fix it. Because if not, Caitlin Clark might just write the next chapter of her legacy in a different city. One that actually knows what to do with greatness.